Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're here today doing a little B-hop, slide hop tutorial for you controller users out there. I'm playing with my Xbox One Elite controller, so I've got my paddles all set up, so you can see me and my controller being mimicked up in the top right corner there, my jump and my crouch. Now, of course, if you are running a standard controller, you're going to want to start by setting yourself up with something like Bumper Jumper or Evolved. The key idea here is to have access to both your sticks while still being able to press your jump and crouch button. This is how you're going to be able to manipulate your pilot's movement while air strafing and bunny hopping, and this is how you take your stuff to the next level. Now, this is by no means like a master tutorial. I'm not some pro here, but I fully understand the mechanics and the basics of the bunny hop and the air strafe. What I want to do today was really demonstrate the point at which my skills are at and help you guys overcome some of the small micro challenges that I ran into along the way that should, in the end of the day, make it easier for you to master the slide hop. You guys know I'm all about fun, but I never, ever pass up the opportunity to encourage you as a player to elevate your skill level while I constantly look to elevate my own. So let's start by making a nice little slide hop run to one of my favorite portions of Blackwater Canal for practice. So let's go ahead and make use of our stim here. We're going to hit the wall run, go right into the slide hop. Let's see if I cannot embarrass myself and pull this off. Look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. And here we are at one of my favorite portions of the map. Now, the great thing about Blackwater Canal are these wonderful, sexy slopes. These are great for new players who are struggling to maintain momentum when what they really need to be focusing on is muscle memory for their button presses, and also, of course, navigation with the left stick. These are the two things we're really going to talk about today, and then at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can start to integrate the basics of the B-hop into your standard TF2 gameplay to elevate your speed and to get a better idea as to how the bunny hop can integrate into the different maps and environments. But let's start off with my little practice route here, and we'll talk about some of the issues you're going to run into as a new B-hopper. So right off the bat, I like to get on this wall here. We'll get ourselves the necessary momentum to trigger our speed and get into our little slide hop there. Oh, there we go. That was the first one. So what you just saw was a washout. Now, washouts happen when you trigger your jump too soon and essentially initiate a double jump before your player has actually contacted with the ground and went into a slide. That's the number one thing you're going to need to focus on overcoming when you try and slide hop. It's a basic muscle memory thing of getting your jumps and crouches down, getting the timing right. The timing for the jump and the crouch is so incredibly close that at times it's going to feel like you're pressing the buttons at the exact same moment, but the idea here is to jump and then crouch. Now, you'll know you've really got it on point when your weapon never leaves its crouched resting position. So when it looks something like this. We can make our way down the slope here, again, using that slope to help build our momentum. And then we really want to practice here is not washing out. So we don't want to hit that double jump, and you also don't want to turn too sharply. Imagine that you're actually piloting a jet fighter, and if you were to just whip the stick as hard as you possibly could, you would over-G, black out, and crash your ship. It's basically the same thing here without all of the blood and vomit and potential death at 30,000 feet. You want to make sure that you're making these turns nice and gradually. Now, if you actually get comfortable with that element, you can make some really sharp turns. It's really deceptive, but the idea here is to never actually just whip your stick around to make a 90-degree turn. It's to always try and curve yourself around the corner, just like you're flying a plane. Just nice big curves here. Now, the real difficulty for most people, once they get down the basics of the slide hop and the muscle memory and they don't wash out with their jumps, is understanding what they need to do with their left stick in order to actually make these big strafing turns. The number one issue that most people have is pushing forward on the stick. Everybody's like, it's so much easier on a keyboard because I can just press A and D. Honestly, you still have to worry about the amount of pressure applied. There's still a lot going on here, regardless of controller or mouse and keyboard. But let's talk about avoiding that forward stick push with the controller. So we're going to hit our run one more time. And this is the type of thing that I want you to do when you're practicing this. Get on the wall, get airborne, let go of the left stick. Just hit your crouches. Okay, now all of a sudden we've got to turn. Grab that stick, do not push it forward. Start to push it in the direction that you need to turn. This isn't the most high-speed thing we have going on here, but again, it's what you want to do to practice where you need to be with that stick. So let's do it one more time here. on the ground. All right, I've got to dodge that. Let's just push the stick a little bit to the right, and you get what I'm saying here. You do not want to be pushing that stick forward. In theory, you can get away with pushing the stick forward, but it makes it very difficult to actually then transition into the turn that you need to be in. And if you accidentally push the stick forward or down, you can swap out, you can ruin your entire momentum, and you're going to have to start from scratch. So that's something you want to take into consideration here, all right? Just worry about pushing it directly left or directly right. Now, it's okay to have a little bit of forward pressure, like kind of get it in the nook there. You don't want to be down here towards the bottom, because that's how you're going to bring yourself to a complete stop. So really, these are the two biggest things you need to work on. Muscle memory for your jump and crouch to avoid swapping out with that double jump, and getting your actual left and right movement down. Once you do that, you can start to work on your right aim here to really start to get those big turns going. And then, of course, start to integrate it with more wall runs. You can pop some stim in there, get yourself back into speed if you mess up. Use the stim maybe as even a little bit of a recovery tool to keep building that momentum, making your way through the environment. And again, you just saw me wash out a bunch of times. You can technically recover from that washout, and honestly, there's going to be moments where you're required to use a double jump to overcome an obstacle in the environment. But early on, I find it best to just really avoid double jumping and you know, really practice that muscle memory, get the basics down, all right? That's what you guys want to work on. Now, say you're someone who is just like, man, that's a lot for me to take in. You know, where's like the most simplest thing that I can start with? Okay, outside of the muscle memory, what you can start to do is just integrate basic slide hops into your typical Titanfall 2 mobility. So as a normal player, you probably spend a lot of time wall running. That's great. Wall running is obviously important. It's way faster than running on the ground. So what I want you to start doing then is to combo your wall runs with the occasional slide hop to transition. So let's say we come off this wall here. We're just going to get one jump in. We can land on this wall over here, get back up here, get back on the ground again. Okay, we got a couple slide hops. So even if you find yourself in a situation where you really haven't mastered the ability to turn corners while slide hopping, you can just do a beeline to the next wall and use your slide hop to make that transfer that much faster. So there we go. We're gonna slide, nice straight line. Okay, I got a wall there, I got a wall there. Boom, get on that wall, make my way into the building here. That is so much quicker than hitting the ground and then just starting to huff it, you know? Like, hey, all right, I'm gonna run out to that wall over there. I'll see you in a couple minutes, guys. Meanwhile, the guy with the B-hop just blasted past you, got on the wall, transitioned into another B-hop, made his way onto this wall, into the room, you know, whatever he needed to do. So that's the best way to start integrating the basics of the slide hop. And then you can spend more time in a map like Eden is great for practicing your slide hops. Blackwater Canal, again, I like the slopes because of the momentum. Get comfortable with it, and before you know it, man, you'll be a slide hopping fool. People will be like, look at that guy go. Look at him go, man. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my noob guide for slide hopping 101 for the brand new slide hopper. Hopefully this helps you guys get started with this incredibly unique mobility feature, I guess, which is really just a side effect of Titanfall being built on a modified Source engine. If you guys have any other questions or concerns, any other minute things you're struggling with, feel free to ask me down in the comments section below. I'll be more than happy to give you an answer, and I'm sure other people in the community who already have mastered the slide hop will also be more than happy to help you out with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you dance like a wonderful slide hopping fool across the battlefields of the frontier in the very near future. But I've got to run, B-hop my way back to my PC so I can work on that closer, and I'll see you in the next one.